Namo Narayan, everybody. This is Sannyasi Shivani for your yoga views for the full moon on the 18th of March, 27 degrees and 40 minutes. The full moon is in Virgo, which means the sun is in Pisces. This is the culmination of the cycle of this Piscean axis of the health axis between Pisces and Virgo. And of course, just after the new moon, we had Sivaratri, which is connected to Pluto. There's some key players in this 2 weeks that I want to kind of just break down a little bit for you. I'm hoping in a simplified way. So get out your pen and paper or your pencils and just jot down these couple of things just to keep in mind. Okay, so two different aspects that we're really looking at through this 2 weeks is Venus and Mars. They're conjunct, and so what we're looking at with Venus and Mars in Aquarius is the people. Okay, it's the collective consciousness, and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, which is in Taurus. Okay, so Venus and Mars being in Aquarius is really this this activation between love and hate. It's the dualism between what we value and what and war. Now, don't forget that we have two completely different timelines, I'm gonna say, or realities that are running very parallel right now. And right now, because of our nervous systems and because of our spinal, what we're capable as humans of running two different dimensions, third and fifth dimension within our spinal columns. The third dimension is breaking down. Now we are able to dip into this third dimension. If you're watching this, I do believe you have the capability to dip into the third dimension, do what needs to be done, interact with it in a way that holds tremendous empathy, tremendous compassion, action towards service, right? This is very much this Pisces and Virgo axis of the Pisces can see the spiritual dimension, can embody the spiritual dimension, can embody the frequencies of the spiritual dimension, and Virgo has the ability to go into the details of putting that perspective into an action of service. Okay, as Sri Swamiji so beautifully said, you know, what is the point me sitting here in bliss, anchored and embodied into the higher frequencies of spiritual dimensions? Obviously, I'm not quoting him. This is my personal take on one of his quotes. But how can I do that if everybody around me is suffering? If everybody around me is hungry? If everybody around me is in pain? Then I am not truly in bliss when everybody around me is in suffering. And therefore, it is only in the liberation and the emancipation of all is true freedom created for one. And I think that this micro and the macro of, you know, obviously he was in the micro of, you know, him as a individual soul, a Jiva Atma, experiencing this with all the people around him, and so therefore dedicated much of his energy to supporting and raising the frequency and raising the education and empowering the community around him. This is true on a global level right now, from what I can perceive with Ukraine. People think that this is a fight for Ukraine's democracy, that this is a fight for Ukraine's freedom, that this is Ukrainian people suffering, but it's not. There is no other. You know, there is no other. And so what it is, it's not this country against another country. Well, it is on one dimension, and it is in one reality, and I'm not trying to say that it's not. But from a spiritual perspective, it is the frequency of entrapment. It is the frequency of suffering. It is the frequency of ignorance, especially when you're looking at news of, you know, misinformation and people being told something other than the truth. It is these frequencies that are trying to reorganize themselves. And so we need to do that with truth. We need to do that with compassion. We need to do that with right action. We need to do that with fearlessness. and with tremendous love and with foundation in earth. And I think this is really the inspiring thing of what we're seeing with the Ukrainian people, is that they are seated in love and without fear to truly stand their literal ground in the face of ignorance. So this is what we can see playing out in a very tangible way. Moon is obviously going to have a very key space in these next 2 weeks. And then Uranus, as I've mentioned, in Taurus, and Saturn. This Uranus and Saturn conjunction or relationship is also very key between the past and what needs to be taken care of, what needs to come into action to digest the karmas, right? And don't forget that Saturn is in Aquarius until March 2023. So there is a lot of third dimensional expressions that still have to be digested, and so that has to be done on the third dimension. But we also have this other aspects of moving towards the conjunction of Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces that is on the 12th of April, that we are really, this is unbounded water, this is huge amounts of light, this is huge amounts of spiritual awakening, huge amounts of big picture, boundless, boundaryless, understanding, experience, connectivity. And so these are very much, between now and the 12th of April, we are like really heading into a very, very intense time where these, for this full moon, we've got 9 planets within 60 degrees of a chart. 9 planets. That is very lopsided. Okay, which means it's literally like all hands on deck. Every aspect of yourself needs to be committed to disempowering, top-down, power over Capricornian energy, recalibrating the collective consciousness. It doesn't take a majority of collective consciousness to shift the collective. It takes actually quite a small amount. But it does take that small amount to be very, very dedicated in the embodiment, just not of the knowing that it's possible, but the embodiment of it in the face of. And the dream, the spiritual dimension. So between these 3 signs, this is where the work needs to be done. In every single one of us. It's not the problem over there. It's not the imbalance over there. It is the imbalance inside of us. It's the imbalance and the reorientation inside every single one of us, of the reorientating of power from top down to the people from a spiritual perspective. And that's really what I want you to take notice of for these next 2 weeks, especially heading into the 12th of April, is your human existence orientated in a foundation of love to the spiritual perspective, right? Not the religious perspective, the spiritual perspective with a foundation of love. And how do you do that, you say? Let's just start with opening your heart. Let's just start with every single experience you have. Imagine every single experience you have is divinity itself trying to pry open your heart. Whether it's a challenging experience or a joyful experience or a traumatic experience or an uncertain experience or a shocking experience or a blissful experience, no matter what the experience is, this is your lesson, your opportunity to take a moment in the experience and say, can I open my heart to this experience? Can I open my heart to this moment? Can I open my heart to this reality? And this, my beloveds, I believe is how we can really shift the collective very, very quickly, because it's the foundation of Anahat, it's the foundation of the heart that is beyond the individual. It's acting from a collective that this moment is bigger than you, it's bigger than me, it's bigger than the individual. It is us, it is we, and that together we can achieve. And this is the foundation of anahat, beyond the ego, beyond the power over. And this is the foundation of empowerment. You know, Manipura chakra, which is power over and action and surrender and control and anger and blah, 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 is connected to Manomaya kosha, which is the mind. But anahat, the higher mind, buddhi, the we, the interconnectiveness, is also Manomaya kosha. Manomaya kosha spans two different realities, two different densities, two different dimensions, and two different chakras. And so to really understand that literally, your dimensional orientation, your density can shift in a thought. Literally, a thought. A thought, a change in frequency in a thought in the face of old patterns can literally break through, can shatter the constructs that we have lived our entire lives on. So this is really beautiful, right? And so we have to really examine, you know, what is the reality versus what do we believe? And we need to believe in the dream, in the Piscean dream of peace, prosperity, health for all. This is the Sankalpa. We need to believe in this Sankalpa for all and then embody it, and then entrain that embodiment, right? Be the frequency so strong that every interaction that you have with people around you also start to believe that health, peace, and prosperity for all is possible. Okay? So this is the 18th of March. This is the full moon. There's more aspects and trines and squares and yada, 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 yada. But I'm trying to give you an overview that's digestible and doesn't get too bogged down in the technicality of astrology. I want you to understand it from a yogic perspective, and not just a yogic perspective, but from a consciousness perspective, right? On the 19th, so the day after the full moon, okay, Mama Moon is going to be opposite Chiron, okay? And it's going to give us an opportunity to emerge from a situation that's not easy, okay, with Moon trined Mars and Venus, right? So we can use love and we can use the balance of Libra as Moon moves into Libra on the 19th. We can use that energy of justice, that energy of balance of the moon internally to trine the conjunction between Mars and Venus in Aquarius, right? So that love doesn't have to turn into hate and create a war. Love can hold the foundational values and the courage it takes to embody it. So there's a shadow side of Venus and Mars, and there's an embodied light side of Venus and Mars. And the difference of which one is going to manifest is your relationship to those frequencies. And on the 19th, you're going to have a real opportunity. We are going to have a real opportunity to feel that, to embody that. Is what I value. Do I have the courage to embody the love to manifest that? Or am I going to hold what I value as a point of disconnect and therefore of hate to create war? So this is going to be a really interesting moment. And of course, on that same day, Venus is squared with Uranus, so that it can be very electrical. Watch your nervous systems on that day. Drink some chamomile tea. Okay, on the 20th, the Sunday of 20th of March, is the Aries equinox, which is when the sun is going to move into Aries. So this could get super feisty really quickly. And that is activating the Pluto-Aries moon T-square. So this is the street fighter. This is Eris is the street fighter. She is the embodiment of the feminine, very much like Durga, who will cut through the darkness to bring through the light, who protects children, protects the underdog, protects those that are marginalized, protects those that are discriminated against, and will not leave anybody behind. So this is the energy of the 20th as the sun moves into Aries, which of course is ruled by Mars. So for this next month, this cycle of the sun being in Aries, we really have to watch, what is Mars doing? Where is Mars? And of course, Mars right now is in Aquarius, which is the people, which is potential and war and fighting, but courage is also Mars. The courage to act on, to do what needs to be done fearlessly. This is also Mars. It does not have to be war. On the 21st of March, okay, this could be a very emotional day, okay, with moon opposite Uranus in Taurus, very electrical. Watch about being too emotional, and of course this is going to activate the nodes as well, right? So because moon is going to be in Scorpio where the south node is, so what you're feeling that day could be a really good opportunity to over the 21st and 22nd is a really good opportunity to really feel what is ready to be let go of, really feel what is no longer working for you, and using the north node in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus to activate, what can change in the blink of an eye. Your ability to change, your ability to evolve in the blink of an eye is so tangible right now. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. But on that 21st, moon is also squared with Venus and Mars. So we really, it's these same aspects, these same characters inside of us that keep getting activated and activated and activated. So choose love, choose courage, choose change, choose to do something in a different way. Okay, because that is how we're going to shift. On the 22nd, when moon is conjunct, officially conjunct south node and is opposite north node, I think we're going to really see the karmic mission. We're going to really see what we are here to karmically embody. It could also be a day for earthquakes and volcanoes because Mars is squared Uranus exactly that day. So with Uranus being like shocking, like earthquakes in Taurus, that could be a lot of earthquakes. Mars is volcanoes and disruption. So it could be quite a volatile day. But don't forget, anytime there's a volatile day, there's a day where you will see tremendous love. People helping people, people taking care of people, right? That there is never just one side playing out. There's always the other side, and you've got to decide which side you're going to empower, right? And often this is why such horrific experiences are reality, is because it is the catalyst to push the love, to push beyond the boundaries of what we would usually hold ourselves in our little worlds as important, and push past those boundaries to what is needed that is beyond me. Let's do that, right? And we're at this again. This is what we're seeing in Ukraine. They're setting such an amazing, goodness gracious example of love embodied. Okay, even the Ukrainian. I was watching a news thing this morning. You can find it on YouTube. It was CNN. If you look at YouTube, it's CNN. Sorry to bother you. There is a Ukrainian outreach program that is a phone call system that Russian families can call Ukraine to ask if they have found or know anything about the Russian almost children, their Russian children, to find out if they have been a prisoner of war, if there's any, if they've been injured or killed or that, and that you can call Ukraine, and there's Ukrainians sitting on the phone trying to match up families in Russia with, and families all around the world, of Russian soldiers trying to help them get home alive. And they're using this as a non-violent way to educate the families in Russia about what is actually happening, to try and get their Russian soldiers back to Russia alive. This is love. This is love. It is so beautiful to see the ingenuity of these people that are willing to sit there and be of service in this way to help stop the war by bringing correct information, by bringing compassion, by bringing connection. And these are the qualities that will prevail. So on the 22nd, this is what we're going to be, really seeing. What is the karmic mission? How can I be of service in this way? On the 24th, Moon in Sagittarius is going to be squared with Mercury, Neptune, and Jupiter in Pisces. And so this is, communication is going to be huge. Mercury is moving through this conjunction of Jupiter and Neptune these 2 weeks, starting at the full moon, where Mercury is on the other side of Jupiter, and then around the 21st, 22nd, I believe, Mercury is in between. Yes, on the 22nd, Mercury is in between Neptune and Jupiter, and then on the 24th, Mercury is going to be on the other side of Neptune. So this Mercury is the messenger of the gods, right? So as Mercury becomes conjunct and touches each of these other aspects and becomes the go-between between generosity and spirit, and then takes, it's Mercury, if I think of it like this, Mercury at the full moon is closer to Saturn, which is the karma, which needs to be done, needs to be taken care of. This is where Mercury has been coming from in Aquarius, and is holding the messages of what is happening with the people. Then Mercury is going to move into Pisces and comes into contact with Jupiter, which is Guru, which is benefic, generous, kind, blessings. Gives the message of what is happening karmically with the people into that frequency, into that realm of generosity. Then combines its message of what is happening versus what is possible with, as Guru, as Jupiter is what is possible, and takes that from Jupiter, and then takes it in between Jupiter and Neptune into the dream, into what do we believe, into the spiritual realm. And then meets with Neptune in the spiritual realm and says, let's connect these messages into the waters. This is what we need to seed into the waters, because Neptune in Pisces is governed by water. And it is in the water that is Swadhisthana chakra that creates our reality. Oh my gosh, I can't, if you understand how absolutely beautiful time it is to be alive and to be able to bear witness to these changes happening, not on a galactic level, on a planetary level, on a collective level, on an individual level. You can just see the magic of the moment. And so then Mercury is taking, this is what's happening with the people with Saturn and Aquarius, to the feet of Jupiter and with the blessings, and what is possible, and the generosity and the kindness and the grace, right? Kripa, the grace, compassion, and then takes that concoction between those two and brings it to the waters of Neptune and says, this is what we need to seed into the waters. This is what we need to literally embody, because our body is made up of like 90% water. Don't quote me on that, but something, you know, not too far off. And that is what is sort of happening around the 24th of March, where Mercury has then gone past Neptune, and has seeded that message of the gods into Neptune. And that is what we're going to be moving towards, the embodiment of when Jupiter meets Neptune on the 12th of April. On the 26th of March, it's potentially a very beautiful day. Mercury is sextiled with Pluto, and it could be a day of really good news, of hearing good news, of hearing about a transformation. Moon is trined North Node. Moon is sextiled Mercury. Mercury is sextiled Pluto, and Moon is conjunct with Pluto. So it's a day of really speaking about change, really speaking, the manifesting through the word that change is here, that change is possible. There's an opportunity for change. And then on Sunday the 27th, with Moon conjunct with Vesta in Aquarius, this is an opportunity to restore balance. So around the 26th, 27th weekend, we could really see a nervous, electrical excitement of possibilities of balance, of restoring balance, an unexpected event happening that's in a really beautiful, beautiful tone, a beautiful frequency. And then we head into the 28th, could get with Moon in Aquarius, conjunct Mars. Then we've got to watch with this reactive, emotional, sensitive accidents. It's like on the weekend, we've been able to like let down our armor, let down our guard, right? But then you're raw, right? By having spent so much time protecting yourself, you feel vulnerable, sensitive, emotional, and this can make people reactive if the anger is still there, if we haven't been able to move through anger. I'm not saying that anger is not a correct response in a moment to create balance, but I'm saying is that when the anger pushes up into the heart, this is when you get resentment, and this does not set you free. Okay, resentment does not set you free. 30th of March, Moon is going to be conjunct with Jupiter. So again, we come into that spiritual generosity, compassion will prevail. And then 4 hours later, Moon is going to be conjunct Neptune, which is, both of this is sextiled with North Node of where we need to move into. So we end the month on a really positive, beautiful note, which of course is going to send us into this new moon, which in Mountain Standard Time is going to be on 25 minutes past midnight on the 1st of April. And that's going to be sending us into the full steam ahead into this conjunct of Jupiter and Neptune on the 12th of April. It's a big 2 weeks. It's a critical 2 weeks. It's every moment always, yes, of course, every moment. We're not saying it's not, but every moment is so truly important. Every single moment, every single word, every single interaction. And I really feel like on an individual level, we need to slow down a little bit, really take a few minutes of your day and for quiet, for contemplation, for sadhana, for mantra, for practice, and review your day. Review, like, where were my opportunities for growth today? Where did I ace it? Where can I try more consciously next time? Which relationships feel a little discordant right now? Which relationships can I reorientate, bring in more heart, bring in more compassion? We all have them. We all have these aspects and opportunities in relationships, because these relationships are showing us where our fastest growth is possible. So I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful full moon, beautiful couple of weeks heading into April. This is the new beginning. This is the spring, but it's not just the spring of like another 4 seasons. It's not just the spring of another spring and another year. This is the beginning of a new humanity. You are part of this new humanity. You are a face in the diamond of this humanity. The light that shines through you, that is reflected through your face, in your facet, is crucial to the balance and the luminosity of the whole. So, Naman Narayan. Talk soon.